Hello everybody, this is Pete from PA Labs, and I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm kind of taking a few hours off of coding today, and it dawned on me that I wanted to show how and what are some of the tricks to actually building a war game like this. Okay, and it starts at very low levels and you just build on top all the way through, pretty much like every other application that we build, especially big ones. And there's a few tricks that I've developed that I think are pretty good. It's what, in my opinion, helps to do all of this and to do it in a timely fashion. The first is this creating a map hex array. Now, that in and of itself, probably, you kind of go, well, that's fine and good, but how on earth do you do that? And that brings me back to our WarGame object structure. And so I've flowcharted the primary game. Okay, so we have game map. Game map owns map cities. Map cities has a cross-reference to element. Element is a list of all the elements that can be built. This is infantry, armor, yada yada. And then it has a collection of map units. So that is to say a city can contain inside it map units. Okay. Then we have game map. And then we have game map unit, which are the actual units that are on the board. Okay, separate from those that are inside other containers. And those other containers are things like an aircraft carrier carries squadrons of airplanes. An airfield contains squadrons of airplanes. A map city can contain, currently it's more airplanes. Okay, so there's like a built-in airport at every city, and then you also have the airfields, and then you have carriers. Okay, and that's what these collections are to depict and hold. Then we have the map opponents. Those are your two opposing players, or it could be 3 or 4 or 8. It doesn't matter. Each of those map opponents contains map players. So players is kind of synonymous with nations. So in our current game, we have Germany, that's one opponent. We have the Allies, that's the other component. And you'll have units from Great Britain, France, and Belgium that are all owned by the opponent allies. Okay? So then we have the map structures. Structures are facilities. And this is where I'm going to institute a huge change. I kind of built that a little wrong. It kind of developed as I built it. Originally, structures was just going to be farms and factories. And then I got to thinking about it and said, well, what's the difference between farm and factory and an airstrip? And then as time went on, I thought of maybe an academy for building better units, shipyards and barracks and other things like that. So now it really needs to have a factory type, a factory object, which has different, each one of these would be a type, and it all is contained within map structures. Okay, so that's going to be an enormous restructuring of the app. And it'll go back to rewriting huge chunks of the designer too. That's probably what I'm going to start on next. So then we have the physical aspect of the map. Okay, a map is made up. It's got labels. It's got graphics. Well, labels are its own thing because they are not tied to row and column. They're just tied to an XY. But then you come to the all-important map hex. So when you first build a map, you identify how many rows and columns you want. And in the background, I actually create the array, or actually it's a list, of map hexes. Okay, so it goes across a row, however 20 across, and then down to the next row and 20, and all the way through. So you create hundreds and hundreds of these map hexes, and then inside each map hex is a detail record. Okay, and the detail record basically is a collection of the graphics and the graphics parameters. Okay, the graphic might be a bridge and it connects east to west, that sort of thing. It might be a road that goes from northeast to southwest. It could be, that kind of thing. And so the important sums of the details is mirrored to such as a blocked hex, and that sort of thing is mirrored to the top map hex. Now, in addition, zone of control, and there's two zones of control. As play moves between players, you have enemy zone of control and my zone of control. Okay, so you have two sets of zones of control that gets regenerated and written to map hex every turn. Okay, so then we come down and we have events and terrains and the game scoring objects. So getting back to my little cool idea here was this map hex array. When you're dealing with a unit, I have a unit in my hand, he has a row and column, I can instantaneously retrieve that entire map hex structure for that particular row and make decisions. Okay? Now, remember, this contains terrain. This contains the images. Each image is attached to a type of image. Is it grass? Is it foliage? Is it roads? Is it water? Is it, whatever the heck it is. And then you build your terrain rules based on that. Okay, so with each hex, I can almost instantaneously identify what the terrain rules are for any unit that is on any particular row and column. Okay, so the second huge thing that I've created is map grid. Map grid, and I should also note, this is largely a static array, aside from the zones of control that flip back and forth. This is, all the terrain and all that is static in a game. So it doesn't grow and shrink. Okay, so here we have the next big trick, and that's this object called map grid. And map grid is very dynamic. This contains, at each grid hex location, I have a JSON file of a structure that contains the unit 1. If there's one unit in there, it has unit 1. I have his index in the map unit. Well, let me just show you. We can jump over to that real quick. I think I have that over here in map grid. Here we go. So this is everything you ever wanted to know about a map grid. So there's all the city stuff. Here's the city ID. Here's the city index in the map city collection. The city player and the city opponent. So this would give you the nation that's involved, and this gives you who is the game opponent owner. And then we have a whole section on structure. Same thing. And this one also includes the structure type. And then we have both the Unit 1 and Unit 2 of the units that can be in any one particular hex. Now, I have a function here, so this has to get updated every time a unit moves. And so it doesn't get recreated just because of movement. I have a map grid move unit from location to location. and he goes and looks the unit up, grabs the right unit, and moves it within the map grid array. It just updates those JSON files and then updates the actual map grid object. Okay, so we have these base things here of serialize the grid item and update the map grid. We can extract the JSON, that kind of thing. So it can be instantaneously flipped back and forth between a string field, a single entity string field that's in the array, and the object that gives me all of these programmatically to hit. So now the other time that this has to be updated is when a unit dies. Now, when a unit dies, it affects the entire structure because I'm containing the unit index. This is the big guy that saves you all the time of spinning through 100 units to find that one unit you're playing with. Okay? The unit index is a magic field that jumps me directly to the specific unit in question. So, when you kill a unit, you delete a row from the database. Therefore, his index everywhere will change because now all of those guys are all re-indexed. So, on the kill of a unit, this map gets completely rebuilt. Now, typical me, we have a build grid map, we pass it to work map, and it takes about a third to maybe a quarter to a third of a second to completely clear and completely reload this, because all he does is just spin these collections as fast as machine possible. So it's a very quick thing that's only done when units are killed. So those are my two big cheats that bring about the ability to build these games and to make them fast. Whoops, you're not wanting to come up on top. Okay, are these two things. First is the overall structure is basically it's all arrays or it's all lists, so you can jump around real easily in all of that. And then these two guys, which gives me the instantaneous jumping back and forth between units and grid. So that's really the whole point of this video. And thanks for watching.